Hello, my fellow readers. It's I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fan fiction reading. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts. Now, it's been a while since I actually uploaded. There's not gonna be no big region, no stupid BS, anything. The simple, long and short of it is my Wi-Fi went out, and it took a couple days to try and get back up online. I had to get my friend to help me and my family because we all live together and stuff like that. So it's back, so which means I should be able to record. So let's get started. So the fan fiction where I'm doing a reading of is It's Alright. It's an Adventure Time with Finn and Jake fan fiction written by Moonbird. I actually found about this about the author Moonbird from a thread. The thread was basically talking about the myth of women in esports and how, you know, it's inherently sexist. And let me see if I can find the thread. No, it's gonna take too long. Basically, the point of short of it is, the person who started the thread, who's actually the author, talked about how, you know, people were worried about her because of the simple fact that she might be another activist ready to do all this crazy stuff. But then they worship the ground she's walked on. When they find out, yeah, I'm actually a big geek and stuff like that. And so she liked it, and then, you know, she mentioned fan fiction. It's like, oh, what about fan fiction? and so me and her talked, and so she told me about that she writes fan fiction under the alias of Moonbird. And you said, I may actually do a reading or review of it. And it's like, who knows? I do have another story about her right here. That's gonna take a little bit because I'm started reading the novel that I am gonna be reviewing. But other than that, yeah, I gotta get started on this. So let's get started. Now, I can't remember much about Finn and Jake. It's been a long time since I saw an episode. Regular show and Adventure Time were like the last two Cartoon Network shows I really got into. And after that, I just completely stopped watching TV in general, and more spent my time reading. And then eventually, I restarted this channel. In between, trying to take care of my kid. So I know. I know there it did end, but I can't remember I just can't remember anything past the Lich killed Billy. Everything after that I just didn't see. This would be it. So that would be it. So let's get started. A short piece taking place right after the series finale. Marceline and Simon speaking a little bit, trying to deal with what happened and looking towards the future. Alright. Seems simple enough. It looks like it's just gonna be a simple, it's a hurt, comfort, friendship story. All right. You know what? I just want to make a point about this. Why is that slashed? I don't know why. This is not anything against the author. It's like I just find it weird. Like, wouldn't ampersand be better? It's like, wouldn't that be better instead of a forward slash? I'm just saying. Let's get started. Marceline was trying to comprehend what she saw in front of her. All things that had happened in just one day. A war had ended even before it had started. Then the gates of destruction had opened up and all of Oo had nearly been destroyed. Magic Woman, Ice King, and Finn had gone into Gulb? Where the fuck what is Gulb? What is this? I don't know who that is. You know what? I want to see. Who is Gulb? What is Gulb? Let's see. I have to do these by the ear because it makes them work. Gold. No, not gold. Gold. Okay. Oh. That's gold. Okay. Creepy. Let's see. Being full of hope, Marceline had been afraid that they had been dead. Yet she hadn't had a lot of time to even let the thought fester as she concentrated on merely staying alive herself, on keeping the things that mattered to her alive. Bonnabelle. The only thing I heard about the finale is the fact that Bubblegum and Marceline kissed. Now, I kind of had a little problem because I came completely out of the blue. I knew for a fact they were in a relationship. I just think, it was like, did that really need to be at the end? I kind of see why they went for it because if I remember right, they couldn't flat out confirm in the show that they were in love, that they loved each other, because it aired in countries where homosexuality isn't a thing. Mainly Islamic country. Like Islamic countries, they don't. Islam does not like homosexuality. And so so they had to edit a lot of stuff when it was like, okay, we can hint at it, but we can't confirm it. The same thing happened with Xena, but that was more open world thing. Like everyone and their mom knew Xena and Gabriel loved each other. It's just they just couldn't flat out say. All they can do is hint at it to the high heaven, but they couldn't do anything about it. So it's like, and so I was kind of surprised that they did kiss. That's the only thing I know about the finale. That's it. But that's about it. Then Golb, I'm not gonna be able to get used to saying that. Golb had opened out and came Finn and Simon. No magic woman though. No Betty. What? But wait. In a flash of realization, Simon had realized what Betty had done. He had shouted out to her, but it was too late. She took off and he broke together. All Marceline could do was to wrap her arms around him, like Simon had done so many times for her, and let him cry. The motion had seemed natural. She hadn't even thought about it. How could she? Everything was happening so fast, she was acting on autopilot. Finally, after such a long time, things had become quiet. The dust of the battlefield had settled. Finn and Jake was wide-eyed looking around. Bubblegum was checking on her troops and Simon. He was just sitting there, wide-eyed looking at the place in the sky where Betty had disappeared to. Quiet tears were falling from his eyes and down his cheeks as he just sat there, barely moving. Marceline still had such a hard time comprehending. Was it really him? She kept grammar error right here. Expecting. Why? There's no S. There's no S. I know the author says English is not her first name. I mean, it's not her first language. It's actually Dutch, but I still, I'm still a critic. I still have to call it out when it's called out. I'll probably be more lenient in the reviews, but this is the readings where I have a little more fun. So one drama error, I just said I had to do it. She kept expecting him to disappear any moment, to turn blue and mad. That is always how it went with Simon. He never stayed. There would be a flash of hope, but it would only ever be a cruel tease. He never hung around. Never. That wasn't how it worked. That wasn't how it had worked for 1,000 years. Any second now, he would turn his head and the illusion would be broken. It would be the Ice King sitting there. It didn't happen, though. Marceline kept looking at him, and he kept sitting. Then, finally, Marceline took a deep breath as she approached him. It was odd. She was usually proud of the fact that she wasn't scared of anything. But now she was shaking. Marceline could feel her entire body shake. What if he wasn't really? Wait. Wait, let me see if this sentence makes sense. Marceline could feel her entire. Okay. What if he wasn't really? I think you should add a there right there. Just there. The word there. What if he wasn't really there? What if he would open his mouth to prove his teeth were sharp and then he laughed that mad laughter? What if? Hey, Marcy. Marceline gasped by the sound of his voice. Not loud and mad, but calm, quiet, kind. He turned to her and looked up at her. His eyes behind the purple glasses. They were clear, intelligent, warm, but also very confused and very lost. Even if he tried to put on a smile in that moment, trying to comfort her of all things, just like back then. And Marceline returned the favor, sending back a little smile, even if that too was very forced. Hey, she replied. Long time no see. You can say that again. Simon commented slightly amused, then turned back, looking at the sky where Betty had vanished. Slowly, Marceline approached him, then sat down next to him. Crazy day, huh? She asked. What else is new? Simon asked, halfly amused. I'm pretty sure that's not a real word. I can't remember. Let me check. Halfly. Yeah, you're missing an L. That's three grammar errors. Then he lowered his head, covering his eyes with his hand, as new tears seemed to emerge. Sorry. He swallowed, taking off his glasses so he can wipe his eyes with his sleeve. I guess I just have a lot of process right now. It's okay, Marceline assured. Oh, Betty, you idiot, Simon hissed, wiping his eyes. Why would you do that? Turning yourself into... He sighed deeply. A monster. He finally hissed, squinting his eyes. She did it because she wanted to protect you, you know. That should have a comma. Put a comma right there. Marceline pointed out. That doesn't really make me feel any better, Simon had to admit. In fact, it's making me feel even worse. Turning into such a thing for my sake? That's not, he hissed. Well, you would have done the same thing, Marceline commented. In fact, you did, she pointed out, and Simon's eyes widened as he looked up. Then he swallowed as he squinted his eyes. Oh, Marcy, he breathed. I'm so sorry. I guess I am just a foolish old man, after all. He commented, collecting his legs and his arms, and then dropped his head down on his knees. And I'm a mess. Aren't we all? Marceline asked. Simon smiled, though tears kept rolling down his face. Hey, Marceline swallowed. I'm really glad having you back. I don't suppose that'll help any, but I want to help, you know, she asked. I really missed you, and I'm not really good at this, she then admitted. You're doing great, Marcy, Simon assured, wiping. I'm pretty sure assured is misspelled. You know, I'm not gonna look this one up. I'm pretty sure that's not how you spell assured. You know, I'm gonna look that up. Assured. Yep. A-S-S. You are... Wait. Yeah, that's your... Oh, never mind. My bad. Wiping his eyes again. You sure have grown. Well, you know, you picked up a thing or two over 1,000 years. Marceline commented, then she frowned. Do you know, remember stuff? She asked. I mean, not a lot, Simon admitted. Some vivid images. Did I? No, on second thought. I don't think I want to know, he commented. Yeah, you probably don't, Marceline admitted, and Simon shivered. So, any ideas what you want to do now? I do, Simon nodded and turned his head toward looking at Marceline. There has to be a way to save Betty. Wow, this is again? Marceline asked. First you want to save me, end up at Ice King. Then she wants to save you, ends up as Magic Woman, and then Golb. And now, just promise me you won't turn yourself into something horrible. Simon smiled, amused. I have no intention to. I know now what obsession can do to a person, he said, looking back toward the sky. Even if the obsession is just to save someone. To save someone. So, 5 grammar errors. I'm not sure Betty and I can ever be together. It may simply just not be in our cards. Not anymore, at least. But I want to make sure she doesn't suffer. That's all, he stated. So I guess I know what I have to do so all of this doesn't repeat itself all over. And what's that? Marceline asked a question. Simon exhaled. I have to be willing to let go, he stated. I see. Marceline nodded. That's probably the wisest thing I ever heard anyone say. It should be say, not saying. So 6 grammar errors. You think you can let go, Simon? I have to, Simon stated. Both for Betty's and my own sake. And yours. I don't want to hurt you anymore. It was hard to reply to that, so Marceline averted her eyes. You know, clearly Simon was struggling with the words. Clearly this was hard for him as he had to gasp for air and put up a fight to keep his tears back. Maybe Betty and I, maybe we are just no good for each other. He pointed out, covering his eyes again. We drive each other mad. Literally. Let me check. I know this is like weird. Literal. Nope, literally is misspelled. Get rid of the E. L-I-T-L-I. Literally is spelled Literally. So, literally, that's completely misspelled. Maybe this really is doomed to forever repeat itself unless one of us just stop. 7 grammar errors right here, and that should be apostrophe S. So that's 7. Marceline closed her eyes. No wonder this was such a hard decision for Simon. For 1,000 years he had held on, kept dreaming, kept wanting to see her. And it had been all he wanted, and then admitting himself he had to give it up. Though it also reminded Marceline just how smart her old friend was, and how much she had missed him. His guidance, his counsel. Even if he had been half mad, sorry, I actually read that wrong. Even if he had been mad half of the time, even back then, he had been a pillar in Marceline's life. That strong pillar she had so desperately needed back then, and had severely lacked ever since he went away. Marceline couldn't help herself but moving closer, and then finally laid down, carefully resting her head towards Simon's knee, drawing comfort from his calm presence. Simon smiled lightly as tears still fell down his face, but much more quietly he took a deep breath. So, I guess I'll be adventuring. Trying to explore, figure things out. Simon smiled lightly. Just see what happens. Marceline nodded. Sounds pretty good, Simon. But before you think about all that, you need to get back on your feet. Oh boy. I don't have anywhere to live, Simon suddenly realized. I mean, there's the Ice Kingdom, but, yeah, no thanks. He shook his head. It's no problem. You can book at my place. Marceline stated from where she laid, and Simon looked down at her. You sure about that? He asked. Absolutely. You can hang out and tell stories. And I already know you like things clean, so I know you'll clean up after yourself, Marceline beamed. And it won't have to be forever, just until you figured out where your home base is going to be. I hope it'll be near my place, though, she stated. Marcy. Simon smiled lightly. Come on, please. It'll make me feel so much better, Marceline stated. Simon looked at her for a while, and finally nodded his head as he smiled slightly. Okay. Thank you, Marcy. Marceline beamed just as a young boy and his brother, a magical dog, came. Hey, Marceline, Griffin greeted her, and Simon, he hesitated, then squinted his eyes. Do you know who I am, or should I introduce myself, he asked. Simon looked at the young man with the white hat on. You're Finn, right? He asked. Yep, so you do remember. Finn smiled. You hit quite the punch, don't you? Simon asked. Yeah, Finn admitted, blushing slightly. Simon smiled, amused. It's all good. I don't remember when it happened exactly or why. Something tells me though that I don't want to know. I think this would sound better is Simon smiled. I think this would read better as Simon smiled in amusement. It's not bad. It's just I think that would just flow much better. So I'm not saying it's an error. Just saying that would smiled in amusement would simply just be much better. That's probably for the better, the dog commented. I'm Jake, by the way, in case you don't know. He offered Simon a hand. I'm pleased to meet you, Jake. Simon accepted the handshake. Simon Petrikov. He shook, then let go. Cool! Jake smiled. Well, we just wanted you to know that if you need anything, me and my boy Finn here are ready to help. Simon blinked confused. Helping people is just kind of what we do, Jake informed. and you're our friend. So Finn shrugged. I mean, Ice King is our friend, and you were the Ice King, but now you're not. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. The Ice King was your friend? Simon asked, wide-eyed. Seriously? Finn shrugged. It's complicated, he admitted. Anyway, if you're going on eight errors on a adventure, call us up, he asked in a smile. At least take us along once, 9 errors, once in a while, not once. We are all about adventure. Real dangerous ones, too. Simon smiled amused. It's noted. I'll keep it in mind, he assured. Thank you. Mind if we join? Jake asked, and Simon shook his head, allowing Finn and Jake to just plop down next to them so they were all sitting together. Marceline still laying. Man, that was a close call. Finn exhaled deeply, laying down on his back, joining Marceline. That time, I will admit I was afraid I was going to die. Phew, Jake sighed deeply. Yeah, I feel you, Simon admitted. In fact, I keep being surprised I haven't turned back to the Ice King yet. You feeling alright, man? Finn asked, looking up at Simon. Simon was quiet for a while, though suddenly a soft smile tugged around his lip and then he nodded. You know, I think I am, he stated. Or, at least I think I will be. I know you got a lot of stuff to deal with, Finn stated. I mean, oh boy, been there. But I kind of just found out the best way to handle it is to take it one day at a time, you know? Take it as it comes. Sound advice, Simon agreed. We're gonna be okay, Jake stated as he laid down too. And in the end, that's what really matters, isn't it? He asked. And Simon nodded again, agreeing. Closing hit not 10 errors right here. His, not his. His eyes as he laid down on the grass as well. So they were all just laying around on the grass, looking up at the blue sky and the white clouds gently floating above them. For just that moment in time, it felt peaceful. For now, at least, things were all right. So that's the reading, and I actually like this little picture right here. Let me see if I can get left. Yeah, I actually like this picture. I don't know who did it, but I actually really like this picture. So my thoughts on the story. I think it's a nice little story. Believe it or not, I think it does have that air of hurt and comfort of Simon realizing he has to let Betty go. I know of Betty because I seen like one episode involving Betty, but that's it. Having some water. And I think and there's an overall message of learning how to let things go. And I think that's what I think the biggest takeaway is this is basically like a little lesson of learning to let things go. Like, because if you don't, then you're gonna end up like Simon, you know, corrupt, not really corrupt, obsessed to the point you kind of go mad, and because you didn't want to let things go. And I think that was a good message, and I think it was actually handled pretty decently here. Not the best. I've seen better stories that handle the message better. But for a little over 2,000 words, it wasn't bad. It was not bad. I don't know who Golb is outside of the picture I saw when I looked it up, because, you know, I'm guessing Magic Woman is Betty because of this. If the author actually wants to continue the story, the Moonbird can actually continue the story because the ending can be used as a launching point for, you know, Simon, for a story revolving around Simon trying to save Betty and him just hanging out in modern day Ooh, and you know whatever Ooh is like at the end of the story. So you can parlay it into a larger story if you want to. Granted, there are errors again. Moonbird, English is not the author's first language. The Moonbird actually told me that. It's Dutch. So, you know, I can't really fault the author for all the grammar errors because, you know, it's not, there's, for what it was, you know, it's good writing. There's a lot of introspection between Marceline and Simon. They played off really well in this story. If I had to rate this story, I would actually give it a 3.5 out of 5. Just a simple, you know, a little above average. Fix the grammar errors. That's the only thing I would want to change because if any other suggestions would actually in the long run hinder the story rather than improve the story. Uh, so there's a lot going for the story, and this is what I like about fanfiction because I look through my channel. I have a lot of different fanfiction. I have Mario fanfiction. I have My Little Pony fanfiction. I have a bunch of stuff. I now have an Adventure Time. I have Phoenix Wright with Turnabout Storm. I have Castlevania. I have a bunch of stuff on set, and you get these short little introspection pieces that it's just basically just two characters talking, and then you say, "Oh, that's not bad," because you have to rate it on the merit of the story. Which is what I am thinking of doing a video about why modern day critiquing is all about raging and stuff like that without using. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm thinking of doing a video talking about the evolution of critiquing. It'll probably be just a one off, and why modern day critiquing is the way it is, and why I don't like the whole toxic critics, like all these critics who kind of do all this BS, like the Bechdel test and stuff like that. I don't like the Bechdel test. I think the Bechdel test is extinct. It's like a thing that shouldn't exist anymore because it's just completely antiquated. But I'm getting off topic. I actually really like this story. I don't think it was the greatest story ever, but the story can lead into a much bigger story of continuing the theme of Simon having to learn to let go. I would actually like to really see that with a bigger story, kind of going through Simon trying to save Betty, and then at the end Betty is saved, and then Simon flat out tells her, he says, we can't be together anymore, because I think that would continue on the lesson that the story started here, and it could be a decent enough story as it is. A one-off, that's fine, but I think the best bet to get the most mileage out of the story is to make a sequel. Because how it's structured, how it reads, it's just right for us. Like, let's make a sequel. Let's continue on this theme of Simon having to learn to slowly let go and get used to Ooh and meet all these new people. Simon kind of possibly apologizing for the Ice King's kind of weirdness by just re-educate, like meeting the princesses all over again. There's so much stuff from this story that could be done, but I don't know if it is going to be done. But that's my review. That's my reading of It's Alright. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.